Russia, allow me to say, it is not the only bully in town, as the late Ronald Reagan would have said with his alarming sincerity. Let me move now to the Caucasus. Caucasus, again, is extremely important, and I'm speaking mostly of the southern Caucasus. It's a volatile region. We just had a war there 3 years ago between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The Caucasus is a critical energy corridor, is a trade route. It affects the Black Sea environment, and Russia's reduced presence and Turkey's assertive role there is also a challenge. And on that challenge, again, I'm adding the European Union absence. You see discussions between the Azeris and the Armenians, but you don't see the European Union in any way participating in that dialogue. South, I'm going to our neighbor, Turkey. Well, I'm not going to speak for Turkey as a Greek means of defense. And I will not touch upon the issues you would expect me to touch upon. The casus belli, the Turco-Libyan memorandum, etc., etc. I will like to see Turkey through London's angle. I think everybody here would agree with me that Turkey maintains the warmest of relations with Moscow. It is a NATO member, but it has not imposed a single sanction on Russia. Exactly the opposite. Russian capital flows into the Turkish economy. Yet again, Turkey is regarded by many NATO capitals not as a difficult, special case partner, but as a vital partner in defense and security, which can be totally trusted. Well, I would propose a test to my friends in the United Kingdom. The basic question that I think needs to be answered is if the United Kingdom is sure that London and Ankara share the same viewpoint of the world, the same hopes, the same aspirations. So here's the test. We have artificial intelligence now. We could use it to produce two different photos of the world in 20 or 30 years' time. The world as London would like it to be in 20 or 30 years, and the world as Ankara would like it to be in 20 or 30 years. And please think how similar these two photos will be. Again, let us see. Cyprus, I think you know all about it. I will not spend more time on the unacceptable situation of a divided island, member of the European Union, with an occupied part by a third country. I would move south to the Middle East, Syria, Libya, Egypt, Sahel, Sub-Saharan Africa, Gaza, Lebanon. In Gaza, let us hope that the Trump plan could produce, finally, at least a lasting ceasefire, and hopefully, later on, a lasting peace. On Syria, we have another challenge there. Syria is calmer now, but not particularly democratic. The persecution of ethnic and religious groups, such as the Alawites, the Christians, the Druze, the clear survival of extremism, the very limited democratic experiment cannot allow us to think that Syria is on its way to normality. And I have to say the influence of third actors in Syria, and especially Turkey, could cause a great concern for us. There are rumors, for example, about a possible maritime delimitation between Syria and Turkey against international law and international law of the sea. That would create an additional problem in the region. From our side, Greece's side, what we're trying to do is help as much as we can Lebanon, and especially the Lebanese armed forces, because we believe that Lebanon could eventually become a success story, and that the Lebanese armed forces are the only functioning institution in the land. So we help them with material, we just send them armored vehicles, we send them helicopters, and we're trying to do our best to help them function in this country. I'm moving to North Africa. Libya, you all know, is a failed state. After the operation against Gaddafi, nobody was in love with Gaddafi, but we managed something which sounds as a great achievement. Create something worse than Gaddafi in Libya. Before the Allies invaded Sicily, and before Operation Overlord in Normandy, it was Operation Torch to secure Northern Africa. So how can we go against history today? How can we ignore the obvious? And I believe that the United Kingdom, again, could help and assist on that front. Now, let me touch briefly on two different subjects. Energy. We managed in the past to rely on Russia, and that was a huge mistake. Europe's energy dependency has been at the center stage, and I have to say that we have to change that. But how are we going to do it? Well, Greece could offer partial solution through the FSRU units around the country, especially in Alexandroupolis. Greece could become an energy hub for the Central and Eastern Europe. As again the ambassador said, Alexandroupolis is only 750 kilometers from Odessa. It's the easiest, the quickest route. And pipelines exist between Greece and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, because we have to reverse the flow. But my country could be the solution towards the energy dependency from the East. But again, there are countries that are not particularly happy with that solution. The other issue we need to discuss together and have a clear view is the role of the United States of America. We usually use the expression the elephant in the room. Well, what we may be seeing now in the Mediterranean and in the Balkans and in Europe is the elephant departing from the room. And there's a clear vacuum there. And that vacuum has to be filled. It has to be addressed. And here the United Kingdom-Greece cooperation could play a role. Because I would like to be honest with you. Europe is trying to rearm. A huge amount of money is being announced for these rearming programs. But it will take years. It will take many years. Because it's not just equipment. It is not just platforms. There's another missing link in this effort, and this missing link is culture. We have forgotten what it means to be able to defend yourself. We have forgotten it. And in order to reacquire that culture of self-dependency, it will take time. And it is not just money. The United Kingdom is one of the countries that still has a rather small, if I may say with all due respect, but important and capable armed forces. And if we add that to the existing European capabilities, Greece among them, that can make a difference. But we need a very honest dialogue and understanding of this. Also, the UK has a few unique advantages. A clear geopolitical understanding, an ability through its navy to play a role in the Mediterranean, and if I may say, beyond the Mediterranean, and also a substantial defense security cluster and an ecosystem with important universities, as this one, which could enhance participation in the AI revolution and in the huge transformation of the armed forces. So it is evident to me that between our two nations can be lots of sectors in which cooperation could be of crucial importance. And may I say that in this changing world, no state, however powerful, can confront the challenges alone. Well, earlier this week there were two articles, one by the French President Emmanuel Macron and another by my friend, my German counterpart, Boris Pistorius. Both articles share the common denominator, that Europe was taken by surprise by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It underestimated the threats of the modern world, and now it must try to accelerate its response as time is running out. So please, don't underestimate the challenges we are facing. And let us not make the same mistake twice. And if I may go back to history, history is telling us one thing that the United Kingdom knows very well, that the Mediterranean is not a border. It's a bridge. That has been its historical role. A bridge for trade, but also a bridge for tension. And we, Greece and the United Kingdom, could work and should work together in making all our European friends and partners understand that basic reality. Safeguarding freedom of navigation, upholding principles of international law of the sea. These are subjects that we could see eye to eye. Monday, I will visit the United Kingdom Maritime Operations Centre, a centre that monitors the state of play in key sea routes. This is, again, as I said before, something we should closely cooperate on. If I could show to you very clearly how Europe underestimates the need to employ assets in securing freedom of navigation, I'm referring to Operation Aspides in the Red Sea. Greece is the main contributor in this operation, which addresses the challenge presented by Houthis in the navigation and the access to the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal being one of the lifelines of Europe. Only 4 warships, out of I don't know how many hundreds of the European Union countries operate in the Red Sea. Greece gives 25% of the total of that fleet. I think the United Kingdom could help us explain the point to our European friends. And I would propose also another subject in which we could closely cooperate. I'm speaking about a trilateral, and here I will not be stating the obvious. I believe that it's time for Greece and the United Kingdom to cooperate with another emerging great power, India. We could work together, United Kingdom, Greece, India, in order to secure lines of navigation, and I think it would be extremely important if we manage to bring the Indian Navy in the Red Sea, where it operates today, but even north of the Suez Canal in the Mediterranean. Well, I think I have taken lots of your time, but I would like to take 2 more minutes to explain to you what we're doing in the Greek Armed Forces under the title Agenda 2030. This is a total transformation of Greece's armed forces. Greece is a small country, we are around 11 million, with rather a limited GDP, 230 billion euros. But yet again, we have oversized armed forces because we are facing a big threat by our neighbor. Our neighbor, and the threat is 10 times our size. So we have to improvise. By the Agenda 2030, we're changing everything in the Greek armed forces. Literally everything. Thank you. From the structure to the weapon systems. But what is more important is that we're trying to change the culture. An army is not trained to ask questions. An army is trained to obey orders, right? But unfortunately, by just obeying orders, you cannot survive in the modern warfare environment. So we're trying to teach the Greek armed forces, except from obeying orders, to start asking questions. What do I mean by that? We have created, for the first time in our history, an innovation directorate within the armed forces. And that innovation directorate has the duty to collect the questions that all army units, all officers ask on what they would need to address the challenges of the future. Let me give you a very solid and existing example. how do we address a challenge of a swarm of drones? In our particular case, of a swarm of Bayraktar 2 and Bayraktar 3 drones. What do we do? And B, what do we do in a cost-efficient way? Because a simple answer would be throw Patriot missiles against them. Great. We'll be bankrupt in a week. This question passes from this innovation directorate to what Ambassador Chaousis mentioned before, the Hellenic Defense Innovation Center. The Greek initial is ELKAK. And this ELKAK takes the question and goes to the small ecosystem of Greek defense companies and also on the ecosystem of trusted allies and friends which would be willing to serve with us. Knowledge and know-how, instead of just trying to sell existing platform to us. In this particular case, with this particular question, the ecosystem came back with an answer. And the answer was a system. It's called Kendavros. So we took this answer, we financed prototype, and we sent this answer to be tested in the islands of the East Aegean, watching Bayraktars fly over the horizon. And then after that has proven a success, we took a risk. We put Kendavros on one of our frigates operating against the Houthis in the Red Sea. And Kendavros proved us right because it brought down 2 Houthi drones, which were trying to sink 2 commercial vessels. So now Kendavros will be employed first in all the ships of the Greek Navy and later on all the army units. So that is the kind of system we are trying to create. And I think we have lots to do together with the United Kingdom ecosystem, which is much bigger and much more mature, and with the universities of the United Kingdom towards addressing challenges of modern warfare. Because security is not only about pure military strength. And I believe that it is crucial that Greece and the United Kingdom expand their cooperation in research, in production, in technology. And funding is there. Funding is there. The United Kingdom provides funding, we provide funding, the European Union provides funding, NATO provides funding. Money here is not the question. What we would like to do is to invite the ecosystem of the United Kingdom to participate in our Agenda 2030. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I took a lot of your time, and thank you for the opportunity. As I said before, I strongly believe in the partnership between the 2 countries and 2 nations. They have been strengthened by shared sacrifice in the past and can be directed towards a common vision in the future. We need to be ready, and we need not to repeat the faults of the past. And if I could ask something the United Kingdom, I would ask them to look back to the legacy of their historic Prime Minister, David Lloyd George, towards the relation with Greece. Thank you so much.
Μουσταφά Κεμάλ, Μπενίτο Μουσολίνι, Αδόλφος Χίτλερ, η ώρα των λύκων. Το νέο βιβλίο του Σταύρου Καλεντερίδη κυκλοφορεί από τις εκδόσεις Εμφογνώμων. Οι κατευνασμοί που οδήγησαν στην επικράτηση των Ναζί στη Γερμανία, των φασιστών στην Ιταλία και των γενοκτώνων στην Τουρκία. Η ώρα των λύκων. Ένα βιβλίο το οποίο μπορείτε να προμηθευτείτε στο infognomon.gr.
Είναι λοιπόν σε ένα αδιέξοδο
ve eğitim kurumlarımızda çok zengin
Επισκεφτείτε το geopolitico.gr. Ειδήσεις, αναλύσεις, αρθογραφία, αφιερώματα για όλα τα σημαντικά ζητήματα που αφορούν την πατρίδα μας. Γεωπολιτική, διπλωματία, άμυνα, μυστικές υπηρεσίες, ιστορία, τεχνολογία, πολιτισμός. Διαβάστε απόψεις από κορυφαίους αναλυτές: Σάββας Καλεντερίδης, Παντελής Σαβίδης, Ιωάννης Μπαλτζόης, Γιάννος Χαραλαμπίδης, Λεωνίδας Χρυσανθόπουλος, Μάικλ Ρούμπιν, Σάιγκάλ, Ταμέρ Τσιλιγκύρ. Διευθυντής σύνταξης ο Χρήστος Κωνσταντινίδης. Geopolitico.gr, η διαδικτυακή πύλη που ενημερώνει πλήρως κάθε συνειδητοποιημένο Έλληνα.